Hello, busy dreamers. Today we're talking about the life cycle of a goal. This is something that's been on my mind for a little while, that we have a beginning, middle, and end of kind of everything, including our goals and including going for our goals. And this morning I woke up and had this image pop in my head that I wanted to share with you, and I guarantee that you've seen this image before. Well, I almost guarantee. I don't know what you've seen and done in life, but I'm pretty sure you've seen this image before. So let's break this down and talk about each stage. We're going to get right to it. So this is the image that I saw. See, you've seen a bell curve before, right? You've been in middle school math probably. I'm still in middle school math and high school math because that's how old my kids are. No, I'm not complaining about this. I'm glad that my kids come to me and ask for help. So back to our goals though. This is how I've been seeing that our goals are structured. And let's talk about each stage as we go through them. We're going to start with the beginning stage, and it might not start right here at the beginning. It might start a little bit right here. When we're thinking about our goal, we're doing some research for it. We're kind of building ourselves up to actually go for it. We're getting like some courage to get started. This is where I'm hoping that I'm like helping you down that little path to actually get started. This might be longer for some than others. This might be a time that we need to get prepared, to get our space ready, to get mentally ready. And it's okay to spend a little bit of time in this. I've been talking about this a little bit at the beginning of this year, since it's January right now. Everybody talks about just jump into your resolutions, go for that goal. And sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes we have to buy a computer if we don't have one that's up to speed for us to write our book on, or we need a new pair of shoes, or we need our gym membership, or we're starting a business and we're waiting for paperwork to come back. Whatever it is, it's okay to stay some time in this. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Then at some point, you're going to start taking those steps. You're going to start going through the motions of your goal. And whether or not this is steep like this, whatever, maybe you're still easing into it, and that is all fine. If you're putting one little step in front of the other, you are making progress as long as you're showing up for it. Now we're going to talk about climbing the hill, okay? This might be fun. It might be a huge challenge. It might be ultra stressful for you. It might be a stress that you can handle, that you're fine with, that it's a challenge and you like showing up for that challenge. It's okay for us to go through challenges in life. This is where we grow. This is where we learn. This is where we become different people or shape ourselves into that person that we want to be. We develop some grit, and we also develop some confidence in ourselves that, oh my gosh, I went through that challenge and it was hard, but I made it on the other end. When I was starting my business, it's called Gene Books, not The Busy Dreamer. The Busy Dreamer is just a portion of Gene Books, but Gene Books is for my women's fiction novels. It was hard. I had no idea how to do it. I had to spend some time over here in the research part, that how do I start an LLC and who do I contact for that? How long does it take? How much money does it take? And then I finally did it. Like, that was really scary for me, but I took the steps, I filled out the forms, and this big challenge that I thought was going to be there wasn't really there. I heard back from the person the next day and I got my paperwork and it was all fine. My point is, sometimes this isn't as steep as we think, but we're not going to know unless we get started. Sometimes it's like this. It's completely vertical. I feel like I've done that a little bit with a lot of my books and uploading them and not knowing how to do that whole process. Right now, I'm developing a planner, and last year I developed a different planner, and this was a huge learning curve for me. At the same time, it was really rewarding to get into that and think, you know what? I love showing up to this. Where I thought this challenge was going to be like really hard and mentally straining was really fulfilling and purposeful. So that's the climb. That's kind of the challenge zone. And some people call this the messy middle. Maybe it is the messy middle for you. I'm there right now a little bit with some of my projects. But then we get up here, and this is a time to celebrate. We've shown up day after day. We've made a lot of progress. We're kind of in the goal. We're in that zone kind of. We know what to expect because we've learned a lot about our goal. Sometimes even getting into it, we don't know everything that's going to happen. Like I was talking about, maybe it'll be something that really aligns with you and you think, this is what I'm going to do with my life. Kind of, this gives me purpose, or something on the side that's just really enjoyable. Maybe you've always wanted to learn how to knit. That's me one day. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. But maybe it's just something that you really enjoy doing. You're not going to know until you get in there. Anyway, I think I got off track. But we get to the top. We get to that point where we're feeling comfortable. We're really proud of ourselves up here. And we've gone through the struggle, whether it was enjoyable, stressful, or not. And now we are ready to kind of get into this zone over here where we get to reap the benefits. Over here, I would call this the reward zone because we've done the hard work, and this is still a thing though, okay? So what I see is a person. I'm not gonna draw, you guys. I'm really happy with how my bell curve turned out right here, but I'm not gonna draw like a little stick figure going down a slide saying, wee! Over here, we're getting rewarded. We're seeing the benefits of the work that we put in, and we feel good about ourselves. We're saying, I did it. I went for it. Yes, it might have been a struggle, but now I can see that when I put the work in, I get my reward. Now down here, you're kind of done, right? You've published the book, you've started your business, and maybe you're making sales. Maybe that kind of process starts you over again. And you're like, well, with my sales, I have this one product, but I want another one. And you go through it. One of the reasons why I'm showing you this is because when you are going through this process, as long as you don't stay over here or somewhere way over here where you don't get started, when you've gone through this process, you start doing something that's really magical. You start believing in yourself. You start saying, yes, I went through that and I pushed through and I kept showing up and I learned, and that's okay to learn even as an adult. And now I'm getting these rewards. And now that I'm at the end, I know I can do it. And I think that is extremely powerful, especially for us who are at a point in our lives where we're really busy, we're taking care of other people, we have our careers going on, and yet we're kind of wanting a little something more. We want something that's our own, that maybe, you're like me and you haven't been in school in a long time and you haven't had something that is challenging enough to fill us up. That challenge makes us grow, like I was saying, and it makes us feel fulfilled. And we can get to this point right here and reflect and know that, okay, I did it, but I kind of want to do this again. What else can I do? This is how, in my opinion, we get happiness out of life, that we go through these processes. We have the courage to get started. We have kind of the gumption and the grit to keep going. And then we can get our rewards, but then reflect that we did it, that we did something for ourselves. I like this visual. I hope you've liked it too, and that it kind of sheds some light where you are in the process, because no matter where you are, maybe you got here and you're like, this isn't for me. That's still okay. You wouldn't have known that if you didn't get into it. And maybe you can just kind of veer off the path a little bit and change it to where it works for you. And you can still kind of go, maybe like you were writing a book and you started in women's fiction and it really started to be a mystery and you really like doing that. That's what lights you up as a writer. That's okay. You wouldn't know to make that shift if you wouldn't have gotten into it. So be flexible with yourself, be reflective, try and be in the moment as you're doing this. My whole goal is to encourage you to start, inspire you to keep going, and live out your goals and your dreams so you can bring that happiness to your life. So I hope you go check out my other videos. I hope you subscribe. I do come out here live a lot and kind of do some you can do it rants. So maybe you can tune into that also, but I will see you next time. Bye.